Yeah,
Over
yeah,
to
we
you,
started.
Andy.
Yeah, yeah. No, thanks, Janice. Yeah, so it's exciting times for us and Kent Tennis at the moment because we've employed five inclusion mentors, three in which are with us today, and we get them to introduce themselves soon. But Kent Tennis Vision aligns with the LTA, and that is tennis opened up. Our mission is to transform tennis for communities in Kent, making tennis more relevant, accessible, and welcoming and enjoyable. And by employing these five mentors, we want you as clubs to embrace what we're trying to achieve. And we can talk practically what that means soon. But I'd like to introduce Keith Gill. He's the LTA counsellor and he's the Kent Tennis EDI lead. Keith, if you'd like to say a few words.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Yes, good morning, everybody. Well, Andy's obviously given a little bit of an introduction in terms of sort of what we're trying to achieve in the inclusion space. One thing I'd say for sort of an LTA point of view, we do have a funding agreement. The LTA has a funding agreement in place with all counties, and as part of that funding agreement, each county has to have this year an inclusion action plan in place. And so I guess this is part of that agreement with the LTA, though I would obviously stress, just because the LTA is telling us that we should have this, that's not really a reason to do it. I mean, I think we all want to do it anyway. It's such a sort of an important cause and worthy cause. So I echo Andy's words that, I'm very excited about this whole thing and where we are today. So just to take a quick step back, I was asked to be the Kent Tennis inclusion lead at the end of last year. And that meant I was asked to be the chair for the inclusion action group. And we launched our action plan on a Zoom call, actually, to our tennis venues on the 29th of January this year. And I don't know whether any of you were there, but seems like quite a long time ago. And the group has met 4 times since then. The idea is that the action group is trying to put energy and focus into all things inclusion in Kent Tennis. And I think that since we launched, actually, I think we've surprised ourselves and done a huge amount. And I'm immensely proud of what we've achieved to date. So there's so much. I mean, I'm just going to sort of say a couple of things. I mean, firstly, via our coaches network through Luke House, we've done some tennis courses to low-income background areas in Lewisham and soon to be Thanet. There's been a lot going on to increase the diversity of our sort of workforce. So with a lot of courses to get more females into coaching. The office team has done a fabulous job actually on things that a lot of you won't see on our policies, making sure that all our policies are inclusive. But obviously, if you look at our website, which is something you can all access, you'll see how much more inclusive it feels. And of course, through our Venues and Community Engagement Committee, through Andy and his fabulous volunteers on that committee, there's been so much good that's going on. And I think just one thing to say, Walking Tennis, it's just a good example of how, within a year, we've created so much momentum. And as I said earlier, I think we should be so proud of what we're doing. It's clear when I go to the National Tennis Centre with my LTA councillor hat on, I see that Kent is one of the counties that's very much leading the way here. But we haven't come up with all the good ideas. And we have to thank our friends at Middlesex who came up with the idea of employing inclusion mentors. In fact, it was this time last year that Phil Veazey, who's the chair of Middlesex Tennis, had a conversation with me and suggest this is something we might consider. And so here we are a year on, and we have sort of appointed 5, and I'm very excited. Obviously, Lyndall, Zane, and Karen are on the call, and we've got Vanessa and Andrea who aren't here, but I think they are now part of Team Kent, and I'm so excited to sort of welcome you to be part of this and to sort of inject even more energy and momentum into this initiative. And I'm so excited. So I think I'll just leave it there. I've said enough and hand back to whoever's going to speak next.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks very much. Yeah. So you're all doing fantastic jobs at your venues at the moment. You're volunteering. We would just ask that you start to think slightly differently. And I've tried to think practically what we would be doing. And I think I started off at the club yesterday. I'm chair of Mepham Tennis Club, have been for 7-8 years now. And I think that the first thing that I'm starting to unpick is the members only sign that's outside, because we want your club to be the heart of the community. And a members only sign, what does that sort of portray to the people that are walking past that might want to get involved in your club, or potentially you looking outside your four walls to your wider community? So certainly over the next couple of weeks, I'm starting to pick that members only sign off the fence of my club. But being a welcome and inclusive club is a feature of a successful community, offering a positive experience for all adult players and volunteers, regardless of ethnicity, religion, age, gender, sexual orientation, financial situation, or ability. It will benefit your organisation and benefit the people that's involved with your club. We're looking for you to try and promote inclusivity, celebrate diversity throughout your club, and support growth and sustainability. This is all about maximising your membership base and volunteer workforce. If we can create and promote an inclusive environment, it will enable you to attract, more members, more participants, more volunteers, and they will stay in your club for much longer. So I'd like to introduce, as I said, our inclusion mentors now. We've got five in total. Three are fortunate to be with us today. So if we start with you, Karen, just a bit about your background and sort of where you are now, and also why you were attracted to look at this position in the first place.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. Hello, everyone. So yeah, I think a lot of you will know me as the tennis coach that works at Deal Parochial Primary School. So basically how I got into tennis was as a parent volunteer, but then taking up a sports leader role at Deal Parochial, I realised that I really wanted to continue with coaching, into coaching. And so off my own bat, I actually took my tennis coaching qualifications, and I ran the very successful, and hopefully will continue to be successful, inclusive tennis program at Deal Parochial, which basically means that every child has the opportunity to play tennis through curriculum tennis. If they want to join the after school club, they will get their turn. So yeah, we do tennis trips, or we did tennis trips as well. Now I'm putting it in the past tense because basically in July I did leave Deal Parochial because I was also at that stage working at Markwood Park, which was park venue that had been refurbished through the government and LTA Tennis Foundation scheme, and basically I couldn't do both roles anymore, and I felt that Markwood gave me greater potential to reach more communities within Deal than just in one school. So I'm still connected with Deal Parochial. I think still would be using Markwood, but I'm going out to more schools, trying to spread the word of tennis, what benefits it brings to their curriculum, and also the well-being of the children. It's not just fitness, it's just the social aspects. But also I found in working at Markwood that actually it's not just children that need this, it's the older generations as well, the adults. So my sessions at Markwood, my coaching sessions have been really good, and I know the older generation that come to it, they look forward to it. It's social for them. They're meeting friends they've made through tennis, and I know one person said to me it's her favourite time of the week. She looks forward to it every week. And it was this awareness that actually I didn't want to be helping schools to promote tennis and get the benefits from tennis. I want to help everyone in the local community. And so this is why this inclusion mentor role actually seemed to be so important for me to continue my journey in trying to get people playing tennis in the local community. And I'm really excited because also Connaught Park down in Dover is being refurbished, soon to come online, and I've been given the opportunity to be the coach there. So Peter Tullow from Walmer, thank you. Because I don't, for people that don't realise, Mark Wood and also Connaught Park are actually under the wing of Walmer Tennis Club. They're actually oversee the sort of day-to-day running, and yeah, it really shows how tennis clubs can work with park venues so well. Without the volunteers from Walmer, Mark Wood wouldn't be running like it is. I know I do a lot of good in my coaching there, but if it wasn't for the volunteers from Walmer as well, on being on the committee and setting it up, it wouldn't have happened.
Excellent, Karen. And you run free park tennis down there at the moment, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So we actually are coming up to our first year anniversary at the end of November, which, I mean, basically we started on 25th November last year, and we've run throughout the year. We've only missed 4 sessions. 2 were due to really bad weather, and 2 were due to the fact that we didn't have 2 activators, volunteer activators available to run the sessions, because free park tennis does rely on the volunteers. So I run that as a volunteer tennis activator. The idea of it is that it's not tennis coaching, we're facilitating fun tennis play. Obviously, because I am a coach, I can bring maybe much more to it than the average activator in ideas and games that we play. But we always stress we're all volunteers that run it. There's, you know, it's a really great scheme. Basically, we're on track to have 1,000 attendances by the end of the year. So
fantastic!
Really, really pleased, and
Well
it's
done.
great to see how different people, you know, from different backgrounds come along. And we will have some families that come regularly, and others that will just come intermittently. And then a family that might be irregular suddenly disappears, but another family comes along, and we've never exceeded the 34 limit, but we've got close to it a few times. And regularly, in good weather, we get over 20 people attending. And I couldn't do it without my team of volunteer activators either.
Fantastic, fantastic. So you can see that Karen's very passionate about what she does in the park sites, but got a lot of experience regarding schools and running her own CIC business as well. So there's a lot of benefit in East Kent for clubs to invite Karen along to your committee meeting, or along to meet some of your committee, or even a Zoom call. But start those conversations with Karen. If you're based in East Kent, Karen does want to hear from you. So if we move on to Lindell next, if that's okay. Now Lindell's more sort of northwest Kent, even though I had to explain where northwest Kent was at the last meeting, didn't I, Lindell? But
that's right, my geography's not so great.
Yeah. You can tell by the accent when Lindell speaks that she doesn't come from northwest Kent. So
I don't know.
But I'll let you carry on, Lindell.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lindell Newton-Early. I'm the founder of FIS CIC. You know, we're all about broadening the reach of tennis. In particular, we're looking at curbing inactivity. So we work as a social enterprise with specific groups that are most susceptible to inactivity. So that's young people, women and girls, disability groups, and low-income families. Our model really is all about providing core programs at parks, providing subsidized and free weekly sessions. And then we go out into the community as well and work with community partners to broaden the reach of tennis. Up until very recently, things were very quiet, and we had 2 community venues in the Borough of Greenwich, but we've recently been awarded the Bexley contractor now operates in a total of 9 parks across Greenwich and Bexley. And obviously I've got Valentina on the call here. She's looking after Elton Park South and Shooters Hill. We had our big launch on Saturday, so I feel like a new woman now. That's all done and dusted. Before that, you know, I've had various experience. I'm a level 5 master club coach. I was the tennis development officer in Hammersmith and Fulham. That's where I really developed a love for sports development and the community side of sport. I went on to become the rackets manager at the Harbour Club Chelsea, which was a very different kettle of fish, I must say. I've worked for the LTA as well as in the Southeast team as a development manager. So I've sort of had a broad experience in tennis. I'm absolutely, as an Australian, absolutely passionate about everybody getting the opportunity to play tennis. You know, I know growing up, I could see tennis played just down the road. You could see it from the roadside. I'm passionate about parks because I believe that, you know, sometimes parks are the first experience or the first time people will see tennis. So it's great to have sort of people just like whoever's watching in playing on the courts and having a great time. So yeah, I think that's about it, really.
Yeah, no, thanks very much, Lyndall. So yeah, park activators is what you need at the moment, and I can only you know. So I've just done the park activators course myself for the Gravesham area, and it's very eye-opening. And I said it's about, you know, clubs and volunteers in clubs giving something back to their local parks. And as Lyndall said, it's sometimes it's the first experience that people have on a tennis court. It might not be the last. Their pathway might be to their local club if that's the direction they want to go. But I definitely would suggest, if you can, at your clubs, is find out where those nearest parks are, and if you can do the park activator online course, which is a couple of hours followed by a DBS, and I'm sure you'll find members at your club that want to volunteer find it very, very rewarding, and it's nice to almost link up with your local park also. So and congratulations, Linda, well deserved. You've done a great job on those two sites. So it was only going to go in one direction for that agreement. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And now we have the third mentor that's here today, Zane Cheeseman. So you know, an interesting view from our point of view, but you know, we want to engage with main contact stakeholders of clubs without a shadow of a doubt, but we also need to get coaches on board. And we like to think that this is Zane's expertise here. So Zane, if you'd like to tell us a bit about yourself and the reason why you wanted to be involved as a Kent mentor.
Hi everyone, so I'm Zane. I run a company called Hot Shots Tennis. So we currently are based across 9 different sites, mainly in Kent, 1 in Sussex. Yeah, for me, I've been involved in tennis since I was 4, so I'm passionate about tennis, love tennis. Like, obviously I work with all the clubs, work with multiple coaches from tennis leaders right up to level 4 coaches. And my probably expertise is probably wheelchair tennis. So I started kind of teaching or working with wheelchair players probably about 10 years ago. And then one of the things that kind of I wanted to bring more into my business a couple of years ago was that just opening tennis up a little bit more. So we've got junior programs, adult programs, but I actually felt like we weren't kind of open enough or inclusive enough. So that's something we then set about. So we started doing some fundraising with the clubs, worked with kind of local, kind of with LTA, kind of applied for some loans and stuff, or grants, I should say. And then launched our inclusion program about a year ago, which we've got Parkinson's tennis, we've got multiple disability sessions, we've got now wheelchair sessions for children, and obviously looking to increase that more. Kind of the reason I've wanted to come in is just to really support coaches, to see how the coaches at different sites can get involved with it. I know there's a lot of fear behind kind of how they make it work financially, how to get kind of funding, how to train staff up. So I've trained all my staff up in inclusive tennis, and we've got multiple people that can run it. I think that's one of the biggest things. I think sometimes there's a fear for coaches don't feel they have the tools to kind of work with inclusion, and I would disagree with that. I would say they actually have all the tools and all the skills to work with that. And one of the other things I do as well, where I tutor, so I tutor the level 1 and level 2 LTA courses. One of the things that I work at, so with Virtus, I'm classed as a disability champion, which is a bit of a weird name, but that's the name they've given it. And my job in that role is to kind of add more inclusion to the qualifications. So when coaches are coming on the level 1 courses and the level 2 courses, to actually add some more inclusion in that. So that'd be like visually impaired, wheelchairs. So coaches are getting more comfortable and confident with actually kind of dealing with the people that come through their doors to open up. So, but yeah, that is my background.
Yeah. As I said, Zane kindly hosted the Weald of Kent Tennis Network a couple of weeks ago. So the idea is that we invite coaches and committee members to view the disability sessions that Zane put on, and to get those coaches on court with Zane, really to sort of break down those barriers that, you know, working with disability is a difficult thing, which it's not. And as I said, you know, Zane showed us by getting those coaches on court that it is no different in trying to, you know, get certain disability groups to play the game. You know, you will have to adapt, but there's no reason why, you know, you can't, or those coaches can't contact Zane and come down to the venues that he coaches at and see for themselves and participate. Are you happy for that to sort of happen, Zane, really, with some coaches?
Yeah, definitely. I think like one of the key things, if you can kind of experience it, you realise it. Yeah, it's not as difficult as you think. Really, as you said, you have to be a little bit more adaptive. But they're loving it and enjoying it like anybody else is, really. And it's the things you put on are similar to what you're already doing. It's just getting comfortable with it and confident with it, and then you're more likely to do it.
Yeah. But it's definitely hand in hand here. You know, committees, stakeholders have to agree this is sort of a direction that they want to go in. And I know it's difficult, but we feel that we can get there together. And you know, hopefully we've got people like Zane and also Vanessa Oakes, who's been doing disability tennis since 2018 in Whitstable and again in East Kent. So she's fine for coaches to come down and get involved in her sessions as well. So as I said, we feel geographically, you know, we've got things covered with the mentors, and they've got their own sort of specialist areas. So as I say, I'll reiterate that we're looking for all clubs to get involved in inclusivity in some way, shape or form, and that is opening their doors and looking at their wider community. And I said it might be as simple as you know, walking tennis first of all. So I'd like to invite Rob, if you can come on here and just tell them about the experience of walking tennis at Mepham, if that's okay.
Hi, thanks, Andy. Yes, I'm Rob Slater from Mepham, and Andy and myself, we initiated walking tennis earlier in the summer, having been on the Helen Abbott call, coffee morning earlier in the year. So we put it out to local retirement groups, which was the U3A predominantly. I'd never heard of U3A, and a lot of people hadn't, but it's a massive organisation, and there's some other local retirement groups we've fed into. Now, when you have a look at that video, it's all kind of very kind of nice and social, etc. When we actually experienced it, and it wasn't competitive, as I say, on this video, it's all very nice, etc. When we experienced it, I thought, blimey, these people are really competitive. And you know, that you kind of say you're meant to be walking, and these people weren't walking. They were definitely competitive. So it was interesting to see that to start with. But we had an initiation day, which we had about 18 people there, and now we've got probably a core 8 or 9 who come along, of which kind of we probably get 5 or 6 each week, maybe up to about 8. And they absolutely love it. And picking up with something Karen said, there's one lady who came along and she said her husband's in a care home, had a bit of difficulty that morning, but she really didn't want to miss tennis. And this lady's in her 80s. She said, this is one of my highlights of the week. And you think, wow, we're doing something really, really great here. She was also, we had a Macmillan coffee morning, and she's not a member. She just bought a cake to that coffee morning on another day just to support that. And it was just, it's fantastic. You're getting that sort of feeling at the club. They've put the message out to their grandchildren, dare I say great-grandchildren in some cases, and we've actually got the knock on a few members out of that. So I would say we don't really play quite to the walking tennis rules, but we're just developing it, and it's actually it's a really, well, I look forward to the sessions and facilitating them. So something's really going well with this, and probably in 2025 we want to push this out further to other retirement groups to bolster the numbers. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say a bit about walking tennis.
Cheers, Rob. And we ran a Macmillan coffee morning recently. We found that the walking tennis players definitely made the best cakes. Excellent. So as I said, I went to see a club yesterday in Kent, and they were after funding, and they just said, we're after funding for our lights, fencing and whatever, almost what can Kent Tennis give us? And the answer is that it's the funding streams that you need to look for. But the first thing they're going to ask you is what's your inclusion programs? That's what they're looking at. What are you doing in your community to benefit us giving you money? And I stress it's very important that you try to be inclusive as you can within your community, and then you can see what funding streams are available for you. But I wouldn't know one funding stream that wouldn't say almost, why should we be giving you money now? And if you can say that we're outreaching to our local SCN school, that we're doing walking tennis, that we got a schools festival lined up, then it's almost why would they give you just the money on the back of that? I think I'm going to put you on the spot here, Emma. Oakwood, I think you got some funding from a waste disposal company, was it, Emma? Through that,
Yeah.
did you have to sort of mention any inclusion that you did?
We were actually already, we had to, it was part of the contract that we had to make sure that we offered the facilities to non-members. Yeah. And we do that by offering, obviously, coaching. We have a pay-as-you-go court, and we also have an inclusive group that come every Tuesday. So we were already doing that. So yeah, that was definitely part of our conditions. Yeah. It wasn't just for a members-only club.
Yeah. And I said a lot of agreements in place, operator agreements will say that you have to have inclusivity sessions involved. So I said we're not asking you to change things overnight. We're just asking you just to look differently. Not just as a members only club, but just look outside your four walls. Mepham, for instance, we've got a school that teaches children with autism. So we've invited them along to our club. They use the courts on a Thursday afternoon when they're not used otherwise. So why wouldn't we encourage them along to utilise our courts? It's giving back to the community. We use those to promote the club, that we're doing the right thing, and then on the back of it, we will receive more funding because we're doing the right thing. So as I said, there's lots of benefits. But John, if you'd like to come in at this point, I'll see your hand up.
Thank you very much, Andy. Just to say, to let the meeting know, anybody in the North Kent area, there's an AGM next month, and one of the proposals before the AGM is to set up in the summer of 2025 a walking tennis league. So we run walking tennis at Shooters Hill, and the people who come along said they'd love to meet other people and they love to have some sort of put it broadly, competitive. You hinted that it was a bit more competitive than you thought, but they want that opportunity to go to other clubs, to meet other people, and at the same time to have a social competition type of activity. I think there could be some interesting around the walking situation, but we'll build those into the rules of the competition to allow maybe a warning before somebody loses a point. But anybody in the North Kent area, please come to the AGM, and I hope you'll support that suggestion.
Excellent. No, well done, John. Thanks. And I think Kent Tennis are running their own tournament or league this next year for the summer as well. So so we've got all parts of the county covered. We are fortunate that we have got a lot of funding streams for Kent Tennis at the moment. So if you do want to start up your own walking tennis, if you have got any initiatives there that you want to start, then we're happy to speak to you. We have got an application form, but that application form can be done with the mentors. So if you have got an idea of turning your venue into an inclusive venue by looking outside, say your four walls, and looking to, you know, your local SEN schools, be it walking tennis, be it para standing tennis, which will be the next big thing, I'm sure. Next year, disability tennis isn't just wheelchair tennis. No, we understand that your venues aren't all going to be wheelchair tennis friendly, but learning disability tennis, you know, doesn't mean that a wheelchair has to get through your gates, or that you've got disability accessible toilets. You know, as I said, it's certainly more than that. And you know, Kent Tennis has got the resource to make sure that your initiatives do get off the ground. So I'd like to open up the floor to the clubs on here at all. If you've got any questions regarding the mentors themselves, and any ideas that you've got at your clubs.
I'm not sorry, he's not speaking, he's not around. Who's speaking?
Caroline, you might have to go on mute there. Or John, you might have to run downstairs.
Right, we're not interested, please. I'm in a meeting. Thank you very much. Could you take us off your mailing list? We don't want cold calls.
Hopefully Caroline's not like that to any new members that turn up at Shooters Hill.
Yeah, those are the cold calls which constantly come into us. You can see how she deals with them.
Sorry everyone, I thought I was on mute.
No, that's fine, Caroline, that's fine.
Sorry, I'll put myself on mute now, it's just as well. Sorry about that. It's a cold call. I can't stand cold calls. It's something John's doing he's getting them all these cold calls.
He always blames me.
It is you though. It is you. I'm going on mute. Bye-bye.
So is anybody at any clubs out there doing some good things at the moment? Hythe, I know Chris is definitely doing some great things down at Hythe. So Chris, do you want to come on and tell us about your open day recently?
Am I?
Yeah, we're off mute. Oh.
Am I on mute?
No, fine.
Okay. So we've been working with Danny Sapsford from Bright Ideas for Tennis. So part of what we've been working towards is creating more inclusive opportunities, mainly from schools primarily, and he's helped us to participate again, get more from those schools. So I'm kind of waffling. I'm just
So we linked up with Danny from Bright Ideas for Tennis, and him and who was the other guy that came?
But Martin Lee.
No, for the training.
Oh, Mark.
Oh, I can't remember the second name, but they came and did training with our coaches and volunteers to enable us to feel kind of more empowered to deliver some inclusive sessions. So we linked up with 2 local schools, and we were delivering to them at the club and also at Folkestone Sports Centre. And then part of what Bright Ideas and the support package they give is help with fundraising. So Danny and Martin Lee came and did an open day for our members and anyone in our coaching program, and anyone, it was open to everyone, just not only members. And they did some coaching clinics, and we had a raffle, and we managed to raise £1,500, which will now allow us to fund some free inclusive sessions going forward. So we would really highly recommend reaching out to Danny at Bright Ideas for Tennis. It's been really, really good. And it's actually, I think, opened the club's eyes to those inclusive opportunities. And I don't think they realised as a coaching provider how much we were doing. So it was really good to showcase that at the club almost.
Yeah, no, well done, well done. Mr. Sutherland, would you like to have any input on what Y are doing from an inclusive point of view at the moment?
Yeah, well, there's several things. Good morning, everyone. And there's several people here that I'm not familiar with. So just to introduce that Y Tennis Club is Y is a village between Ashford and Canterbury. And back in 2008, we had two courts which were run down and needed that they neglected. And we had 149 members. Fast forward to today, and we've now got 5 floodlit courts, 4 which are clay and 1 hard court and a paddle court. And we've now got 700 members, and unfortunately, we've had to close our membership for the time being. One of the good things is that the population of Y is 2,500, and yet 15% of the population are members of the club. And our ethos at Y is to make tennis user-friendly. And by that, our fees include everything. And our fees are very cheap anyway, but there's no extra cost. When you, if you're a person who's between 18 and 60, for example, the fee is £130 a year. And that includes, we supply tennis balls, floodlighting, paddle tennis, where we provide the equipment, pickleball, where we supply the equipment, plus tea and coffee. Now, tea and coffee you may think, oh dear, but honestly, it costs so little, and it's such a good thing to have. That tea and coffee is available for all parents when they come down to watch their kids being coached, and it makes it more of a social gathering.
What about the inclusive programs, Graham, that you're doing? You've got walking tennis, haven't you? That you started up there.
I was coming on to that. Just going on to what Keith Gill was saying. The walking tennis has been a huge success, and thanks to you, Andy, you put us in touch with U3A, because they are like Keith. I've never heard of them before, and we got 30 people signed up. And we've had to limit it to 18 every week. And it's a win-win situation, because they actually do pay for the hiring of the court. So they were given a subsidized fee. And as I said, we've got 30, and they're a really good organization to deal with. Just going on to about the making tennis available for everyone. We've never at Y asked when people apply to join where they come from. It used to drive me nuts when I was applying for grants to find out what the ethnicity of your club is. You know, we don't care. We never ask where people come from. And in fact, funny enough, a couple of years ago, I had 2 gay men apply to join. The first question was, do you accept people who are gay? Well, of course we do. All we're interested in is getting a tennis racket and playing. So that's a very good thing. And the other thing is, you mentioned about the notice board. It's a horrible thing, as you just said, members only. We've never had a members only. Our notice board gives details of how to join the club, and also how to pay and play. So that's also been a big success. So on the whole, one last thing. I'm chairman of the Ashram District Tennis League for 16 years now, and we've just gone on to the LTA results platform. This is something that Janice might be able to help us with. Apparently, this is franchised out, the actual fee situation. So we've no idea what the fees are for this, Janice.
Yeah,
Okay, I think Janice, you'll come on to that in a minute with maybe venue registration, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. All right. No, thanks very much.
Do you want me just to answer that, Andy?
All right. Okay. Yeah. Fire away, Nigel.
So the ability to use that software is free. It's one of the benefits of registration, Graham.
All right. Good. Okay. Lovely. Thank you.
Thanks, Nigel. Yeah. Great. So, as I said, you know, today was about meeting the EDI mentors. They are people that you probably recognise within Kent. I say two couldn't be on there, but we've got a coverage geographically around the county, and obviously what they specialise in as well. We're not asking you to suddenly, you know, change what you've been, the great things you've been doing at your club. We're just asking you to think slightly differently, slightly outside the box, and we're prepared to help you on that journey. We'll help you by speaking to one of our mentors and trying to get initiatives off the ground. And if we can support you and fund you to get those initiatives off the ground, then you know it really is a no-brainer for you know, for the clubs that you're part of. So you know, please engage with us at the soonest opportunity, and we'll help you any way that we possibly can. So thanks for your time on that today. So back over to you, Janice, if that's okay, for an update on venue registration.
Yeah, it's a very quick one on venue registration, just to let you know that the registration window has opened today, so you will be able to start completing your registration. Be great to see maybe have a winner, the first one to complete it. Are you going to be on this screen today? Maybe a box of tin of tennis balls for the first one to complete. I checked last night, I noticed it was open and there was no registered venues yet in Kent, but that's probably because you haven't been told. The LTA will be rolling out the emails, so don't worry if you haven't received it yet, because they're probably rolling out over a couple of days to stop really too many people trying to update at the same time. So this is quite advanced notice. I only got this email this morning, so I don't think it'll be very busy at the moment. So if you've got a spare hour or half an hour, then I advise you maybe to do it today if you can. That'd be great. The window closes on the 20th of December. So you've got a few weeks. If you're not ready to do it, then don't worry. You have got a few weeks to do it. I know there are still probably some welfare officers out there that still need to do the courses. There are loads of courses available and they are all on Zoom. So you will, there's different times of the day, so there's no reason for a welfare officer to be struggling to find a course. That's great news. The DBSs do take slightly longer to complete, but they're coming through really quickly as well now. They used to take about 8 to 10 weeks, and quite most ones that I've been ID checking recently have come through within the week. So do please urge your welfare officer to check that their DBS is within date. That's within the last 3 years, and also their safeguarding training within the last 3 years. So it will be quick to get done, but do just check that this is all in hand and ready for you. There is a slight increase on the registration fees this year. It's between £5 and £2 per court. So most registered venues will be £5. And if you are a park site, it's £2. And as before, universities and schools are free. So I think that's all. There's lots of support available from the LTA if you do get stuck. We are trying to guide people to the LTA support team. But if it's something you feel that I can help you with, then you can reach out to me. But I do only work a couple of days a week. So if you are sort of urgently needing some advice, then it's probably best to contact the LTA support team. So I think that covers venue registration. Any questions from anybody?
Janice, just quickly about the coaches qualifications, checking on the coaches qualifications coming up as well.
Oh yeah. So it's the same obviously with your welfare officers, it's the same with your coaches. Level two upwards have to be accredited or so yes, so just please check that your coaches have got their first aid, DBS and safeguarding, and that they are accredited to the LTA. Caroline's got her hand up. Caroline?
I don't know if it's to do with registration, but this morning, one of my coaches said they couldn't book. And when I went on, every single coach in the club had been put down as lapsed. So I don't know if there's an issue. I've got hold of ClubSpark eventually. I'm waiting for a reply, but it's very odd that they all suddenly couldn't book. So I'm just raising it in case it's happened to another club.
Okay, Caroline, you got time today to go in and do registration? You could be like a guinea pig.
No, I can't do it today. I'm sorry, Janice. I'm grandchildren caring for, I'm afraid.
Okay, no worries, Caroline. Thank you. Any more questions? No, that's great. So I look forward to seeing who's the first venue in Kent to register, and I will pass over to Andy.
Thanks, Janice. So the final point is the LTA awards are open. We want your clubs, your volunteers. We want nominations to come in. So 3 main changes this year. They've merged the Tennis for All Award and Connecting Communities Award. That's now the Tennis Opened Up Award. Then there's the Rising Star Award that's now called Young Person of the Year. I think it was originally. And then finally, Development Coach of the Year will be renamed Coach of the Year, with the Performance Coach of the Year keeping its same name. So they simplified the nomination process now, taking on board some suggestions from last year. They have brought it forward, so nominations do shut at the end of November. So you've only got probably 5 weeks now to get your nominations in, but there's great work being done by your volunteers and coaches out there, and also your clubs. So please nominate. It's not as convoluted as it was last year to nominate. 300 words maximum. So get as many nominations as you can in for your clubs and people that you know. They're all doing good work out there, and you need to make sure that you sing from the rooftops what your volunteers are doing. This is all about sort of bringing the awards forward. I think next year, I think it's even moving earlier to June, and we look forward to welcoming as many main contacts and coaches to the Kent Awards, which is on the 15th, Saturday, the 15th of February. Put it in your diaries, please. As I said, it will be a change. We're looking to showcase inclusivity. We're hoping to have Ruben Harris, who's the French Open Junior wheelchair champion there. We're hoping to have visual impairment there as well. Obviously, the awards will be paramount, but they will look very differently. They'll be at the Avenue Tennis Centre, so at a tennis club. It'll be a great networking event as well. We hope to have our EDI inclusion mentors there. We hope to have Trevor May having a stand there. So any new developments on court surfacing, lights, talking to the LTA development partners. So it'll be very much a networking event for you, held in the afternoon, and it will be showcasing everything that's great within the Kent tennis community. So it will look very different. Please put that date in your diary, and we hope to have as many club representatives, venue representatives and coaches at these awards as possible. Thank you. So back over to you, Janice, if that's okay.
I'd like to thank Andy and all the mentors for joining us today. So it's great to see you, and great to see so many people also joining us from out there in the community. So thank you. Before we end, I will just remind you of our next date. Our next coffee morning is going to be on Tuesday, the 19th of November. So please put that date in your diary. where we'll be having Chris Marshall from Young Champs coming along, and he will give us advice and examples on how to make your programme more inclusive. I believe he's done other coffee mornings events, and he's been really successful, and people have loved listening to the way he works and giving all the advice. So do make a note of that. I will communicate that date in various emails, so if you don't need to necessarily write it down at the moment. But any good news stories out there? I'm sure we have. Anyone like to kick off?
If I can just start on one, the good news story is that Rob Sheath looks like he's on a very nice sunbed somewhere hot. So hi Rob, how you doing?
Welcome, Rob.
Right. Anybody else with good news stories?
Well, we obviously know that the Bexley Park, so Valentina, well done. That was a great event. And then good news stories. Obviously, we had the Weald of Kent networking day, so we've had some great things happening in the county.
I have to say, I don't know if Lyndall is still on the call, but I have to say our lunch day on Saturday went very well. We had the sun on our side, and the open day ran fantastic. And it's great news, I would say, that we have to operate now 7 sites in Bexley, alongside with the 2 venues in Greenwich Borough, where I'm looking after.
Valentina, are you doing free park tennis at all sites or only some?
So at Eltham, we are running family tennis every Sunday. And now is in the plan to start park tennis, and we're looking for park activators to start, get the wheel rolling, but it's a building start, and hopefully, we'll be able to be successful with it.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations on that. Yeah. Any other good news stories from any other clubs out there?
Okay, then we'll say goodbye to everybody and thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you all again on the 19th of November. So have a good month.
Right, thank you.
Thanks, Chalice.
Bye.